Welcome to the 5th episode of RocksTalk, the podcast of Aggregates Europe, UEPG, where we delve into the crucial topics that shape our industry and impact on our daily life. My name is Patricia Ibar, and I'm in charge of the communication at Aggregates Europe, UEPG, and I will be your host for the next 20 minutes. Today, we will have a special episode focused on communication on the aggregates industry with Íñigo Amezcua, who works in communication for the Spanish Association of Aggregates, Federación de Áridos. In this episode, we are exploring how communication is changing in our industry. We will talk about how digital tools are transforming the way we connect, easy ways to improve communication, and how we can help keep people safe. So, Íñigo, you can introduce yourself a bit and tell us what are you doing now in Federación de Áridos.
Well, thanks for having me first of all. And I'm a journalist. I studied journalism in Spain and also in the United States, thanks to a Fulbright scholarship. I did a master's degree there in multimedia communication, and I got back to Spain and I started working as a journalist, freelancing for magazines and businesses and several platforms, whether writing or taking photos or shooting video too. And that's until I started working for Federación de Áridos as a communications manager. When I arrived in this sector that I didn't know anything of. So but thanks to everybody in the industry, I've learned a lot. It's been 2 years already, and I still learning. Every day.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm going to start with the first question. And how do you think is digitalization changing the way we communicate in our industry?
Well, I hope a lot. I mean, the good thing about digital communications is that we are able to get closer to the issues. I mean, and faster, and also be more agile. So we can talk directly to people and anyone that is interested in us as a sector, as an industry, can have an easy access, and we can do it in real time, which is great. Using several media. We're using audio here, but we in Federación de Áridos we use websites, of course. We use social media as much as we can, and of course video, which I think works really good for us. Mainly in the professional ones. I mean, professional, I'm talking about LinkedIn, for example. For us, works better. Because I think it's perfect for our mission, using LinkedIn. So it's one of the ones that I put more effort on, But I guess that digitalization is changing a lot. I mean, has changed and is changing a lot and will change a lot of things we're doing right now, in a lot of levels. In the quarry level, of course, but also in the communications arena. I mean, I'm able to be informed real time of whatever you are doing here at UEPG and the other associations, as well as other organisms, and other businesses around our industry. So it's a great way to receive information. I mean, as a reader, as a consumer, but also to produce it. And it allows you to make links and make connections and be more powerful, which is it's difficult because it's a day-to-day basis. But with some time, looking back in time from 2 years to now, I see I'm very happy with the way we have been growing, and I hope we can grow a lot more in the future.
I'm so happy to hear that, and I hope we also grow up more in the future.
I'm sure.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, I agree with you. LinkedIn is also one of our main platform here, and we use it a lot. And I think that digitalization helps us a lot. Also for us to track and measure how our communication is working. What works better? working, maybe what is not that interesting for the people, for the public. So I think it's helping us a lot in different ways. For example, in aggregates industry, the people think that maybe aggregates are just tiny part of the actual meaning of aggregates. I think mainly they think that is for building or things like that, and they really don't know how big is the meaning of aggregate and all the uses that they have.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that one of the main, unfortunately, one of the main concepts around aggregates, it's the unknown, because we are unknown for huge parts of societies, myself included, after my arrival to Federación de Áridos. But being unknown it's hard. It's hard because it is not only that you are unknown to the rest, but also that you don't have that power, that will to communicate either, which is a great deal. Um, Most of our industries, they don't even have websites. They don't have social media. So it is a true challenge, because in order to be known, which we are seeking here as an industry, whether at public level or administrational level, we need to be open, and we need to be open, and we need to be known. So we have to be out there. That's one of the great things that you guys are doing here at UEPG. And in order to be known, one has to have the will to be known. What I mean by this is that the first step, they always ask me, what is the first step? The first step is the will to be known. I mean, if you if you don't want to meet anybody, nobody's going to meet nobody's going to meet you. And the thing we have to overcome is that unknownness. That's we are nobody knows about us, and we are 80% or more of the total mining industry. So it's kind of a big deal.
yeah, 100%. I think like most of the association or company, they are focused on what they are doing, their work, but it's so important to communicate about this work, because if they don't communicate, the people will not know, and they will not get that much support that they should get. So it's super important for us, for our industry, to communicate about what we are doing, how is the industry, because there are a lot of people that think that we cannot be that sustainable as we are. So there's a lot of communication that we can do about. I know that this sector could be technical, but there is a lot of way that we can make this information look more attractive, simpler, more interesting for the public. And it's a thing that is super important for us. And we have to work a lot on that and make the information simple and make our sector more attractive.
Yeah, but I mean, all this. I see this. I see the whole thing of communication as building a castle. Even though it's a castle of sand, in this case. So I mean, first thing is to do things properly, and we are working hard in that main goal, that is making things the best we can. That is the difficult task. I mean, that is the cornerstone. Around that, we can build anything. I mean, anything. But that is the most important thing, and we're doing it. So we have to take that and now be open about it. Go out and tell, not just the mayors or ministers or whatever, but also the people in general. Apart from that, we can build a whole structure, but we need those cornerstones. And fortunately, we live in democratic societies in which information is open, or should be, and societies are open, or should be, and information has to be free. And we are informing about the way we do things. And I'm convinced that we are doing things the best we can. So we are fundamental, and that's it. That to me, that's like the main communication backbone for us. We are really fundamental, and we want to do things the best we can do, and we work for that every day.
That's true. So we continue with the next question, which is what's one simple way that we can use to improve our communication in our industry right now?
Simple. I mean, I don't know if simple, um, but it's you know, I always believe that information and communications are it's not a part of an association or a part of a company. It has to be all around the company. It has to be an everyday thing, not a thing that you do afterwards. Uh, because I think communication is a culture, and being open in communications is a culture. It's a communicational culture, and we have implemented something like that, or I'm trying to implement something like that in ANEFA, in Federación de Áridos and ANEFA, and is being open. I mean, trying to make every process that we take part being as transparent and open with the information as we can.
I agree with you. I always tell the team we need to communicate about what we are doing because we are going all over Europe. We are going to events. We are organizing things. We are doing a lot of things every week, and we need to communicate about it because if not, nobody will know.
Of course.
And we need their support.
Of course.
To do these things, and we are doing a lot of things.
Yeah, I know.
And it's super important. Communication is all over the company. It's all related with all our departments, with all over the team. It's super related with that and super important.
And you owe it. I mean, you owe it to your. In our case, we owe that. We owe being transparent and communicating the things we do with all our companies that form Federación de Áridos. I mean, they have the right to know that we are working and what we are doing. So for us is absolutely it's mandatory. I mean, it's not that we want to do it. That of course we want. It's that we are. I mean, we have to do it because the companies have to know. The companies that form Federación de Áridos, they have the right to know what we are doing.
Yeah, I of course agree with you. Yeah. So we will continue with the next question. How can we use communication to help keep people safe in the industry?
Well, in a million ways. In a million ways. From designing posters and leaflets and things like that, with with rightly with in a way that the people who read them can understand the great importance that health and safety issues have in our everyday life and in everyday life as a sector. I mean, to going to the quarries and talk, So this is a multimedia kind of communication in this way. So we have to we can design materials, so they can be in any of the quarries or places of work, but also we can go there. We do that. I mean, we go to quarries and we teach or give courses about the importance of this. And but for us, in Federación de Áridos is one of our main areas. I mean, it's strategic for us. It has a huge importance. It's one of the most important things. I mean, health and safety issues is one of the most important things for us in our everyday. That's why we put a lot of effort in that. We are part of several organizations that have this issue as their main goal, and it is. And also, for example, like one of the things we have done is translating the UEPG papers on this, translating them to Spanish, so we We can, I mean, people in Spain can read them. You know, they are very well written. They are simple. Graphic. I mean, the graphic design is great. So I mean, those tools are. I think they are really important to in a different level. This is more. This is a communication that is, I would say, more inside because this is not going to the public outside. But it is also communication, of course, and it's very important. Very important because it saves literally. It saves lives. So it is that important. Probably is the most important. Now that you mention that.
Yeah, the internal communication is super important.
In our case, more because
Yeah.
it's saving lives. It's not just saving the. It's not just doing better, but it has the power to save lives. I mean, which is. I mean, you can go any better than you can do any better than that.
What do you think that are the biggest challenges that we face in communicating clearly within the aggregates industry?
You mean inside or to the outside? I mean, between ourselves or to the outside?
You can speak about both,
Okay.
but I think it will be interesting about outside because it's a thing that I think we are struggling more with that.
We are.
Because it's super difficult to get to communicate with the people outside the industry. The people in the industry, they care because they are inside, so they
Yeah.
will care about it.
Kind of.
Yeah, more or less. But it's even more difficult with the people outside the industry because they will probably not know even about aggregates,
Yeah.
not know the meaning, not know anything about that. And I think it's such the most difficult communication that we are doing. So, what do you think that we can do to improve that?
Well, it's kind of a difficult task. Um, but you guys do something here at Aggregates Europe, and it's something that we also try to do in Spain. That is, we are also part of the bigger conversation. I mean, we're aggregates, but we are part of a bigger conversation. A bigger conversation that has to do with sustainability, that has to do with the green revolution, that has to do with efficiency, that has to do with all of that. I mean, we are raw materials, okay? And when you think about raw materials right now that are very at the front of almost every news outlet in everywhere, they never talk about us. You know, they never. But we are. So we have to try mostly to. I'm talking about people that doesn't know anything about us. I mean, about aggregates themselves, not about us. So we have to try to go to a wider conversation. You know, we are part of that wider conversation. We are not just aggregates. We are also raw materials. We are also part of the equation for a green transition.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we have to make the people care more about sustainability and how sustainable we can be, how we can change more the planet. So with that, we finish. It was a pleasure having you.
Pleasure's mine.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.